Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Breaking Boundaries podcast. So, long time no speak. It feels like actually forever. I'm actually so happy to be having this little poddy right now.
I bet everyone's missed us. So,
of course, Ev. I mean, it's not like we speak on Instagram all the time or anything, but so today we thought we would just do a bit of a catch up, really, because a lot's been happening. It may not seem like it day to day, but it does all add up. So we're gonna have a bit of a catch up. We're gonna talk about a show that we both went to, which I don't know about you, Loz, but it was actually my first natural show that I've seen.
Yeah, it was my first show, really, because I'd obviously been to see AJ compete last year. So I went to watch the UK DFBA and the INBA, PNBA European Championships, but there was like nobody there and I didn't see the whole show. So it wasn't really like...
It wasn't a show.
No. So it was, very, very cool experience.
Oh,
I think we were both after that though.
Little pop the cherry on the Natty Feds game. So to be fair, I was shocked at how well, I mean, we may as well just get into it now. We've also got a couple of questions which we will answer later on, just to kind of tie it all in. But yeah, let's get into it because it was so exciting, mate. But I was shocked at how it was ran. Like, is it always ran like that, where you do pre-judging, leave for a couple of hours, and then come back for routines?
Yeah, I believe the BNBF always do it like that.
No way.
But I'm pretty sure, because I asked AJ this, but I think the UK DFBA always just run through, because that's what they did last year. And I was like, do they normally do that? And he said, yeah. I think it's literally just the BNBF that do like the pre-judging and then the routines in the evening.
I mean, it was like a nice little like spice. Like, I was like, oh, okay, this is happening. But I was surprised because the amount of times I asked for a program, not just of you, like running times or anything, or even like what order the categories are and things like that. I didn't really.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that from one of the athletes, like showed me their program that they've got. But I thought, like, even though like I didn't exactly, like, it wasn't on the social media or anything like that, for example, but like the show itself was ran very well.
Yeah.
Like, so well.
So well.
Which, like, in comparison to like show that I've been in myself, was like a completely different story. Like, so well ran, so much respect for the athletes as well.
Yes.
Which is what I just like. I love that as well.
And I just think, like, even with that little interval, almost it made it all. What I said so me and Meg went, people listening, because I forget people are listening. So what I said to Meg was, it felt like a little almost family, like a proper little community, like the atmosphere, the energy, like the crowd was like as if it was your best mates. Or everyone was just cheering everyone.
I don't know if you saw me at the front. I was literally I got so into it, and it gets me so excited because I've never like obviously been in that environment, and obviously I knew quite a few of the people competing as well because like they were AJ's clients, so I was like really buzzing. But it was really sick, and I did like the interval because it gives a bit of a break. And I think it is in a way like nice for some of the athletes because, for example, if you get to pre-judging and you're pretty stressed getting to that pre-judging, you get the pre-judging done and then you can feel a bit more relaxed going into finals. So like there's pros and cons to both. I reckon like some athletes like it, some athletes don't like it. I liked it because I was able to go and eat a meal, so I got a bit of a break.
But, you gotta do what you gotta do, innit?
It was really good, and it was just so cool to actually see like the standard as well, because I think a lot of people really like, they just don't actually know what the standard is like in natural feds.
They I think, and personally I do it as well. I think it's underestimated.
Oh, massively. Especially with like the open bodybuilding.
Did you see what's his name? Dan Sutcliffe.
Yeah, his legs.
What? He walked on stage. I was like, pardon?
Yeah, no. Me and
I
AJ
literally went, well, you're getting tested, aren't you, sunshine? Jesus Christ.
Big, man. Like, some of these guys, they just look so big on stage. It's
I think the person who like introduced everyone, I think she was like, are you sure you got out middleweights? I said middleweights. Like,
yeah, it was mega. It's going to actually be really interesting to see how it kind of plays out at the UK DFBA this weekend, because they've now changed to height classes. So it's short, medium, tall, as opposed to like like last year they had like bantamweights, lightweights, middleweights, heavyweights. So I'm quite interested to
see how it lies,
to be honest, because you could have like some guys in the short who are really small against some short guys who are fucking massive. So yeah, it'll be an interesting one, to be honest, to see how that plays out. Are you going to that?
Nah, I've done a bit too much traveling.
Yeah, you have.
So yeah, like I feel okay. Like I feel like today, actually, yesterday, and until about half an hour ago, I was like really like buzzing, like loads of energy. I do feel a little bit zapped right now, but not like low, just like I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to bed early tonight. You know, one of them, which is absolutely fine and completely normal. But I said to myself this weekend, you know, last weekend I went up to see, like, to Rotherham and see Cuba and had my posing day thing. Weekend before was FitX, wasn't it? So I just can't stretch myself out too much.
I honestly can't do it. Like, I rarely do any, I know I'm so boring, but I rarely do anything out of like normal routine. And when I do like one thing, like going to the BNBF, driving there, coming back, I was like knackered, so tired. And I noticed, because my routine's like so much the same, and like it's not like I really like go anywhere for work at the moment either. So like when I like go out for the day and I come back, I really like notice it in terms of like how I feel. So you must have felt like pretty trash, to be honest. And when you're on, but like it's one of the things where you're on prep, you just kind of crack on, you pick up good vibes. But then at some point you're like, okay, yeah, bit tired, bit low.
Yeah. So after Sunday, like I said, like watching people do like, so they only had one girl in athletic, didn't they? And one woman in women's physique. And I was literally sitting there like, I messaged Cuba. I was like, I should have done it. I should have just hopped on stage.
Yeah, but, like the thing is with this show, there wasn't that many people doing it, because similar to like you, like not many people hopping in these early shows, especially because we forget there was still like a lockdown at the start of the year. So there wasn't really that many people signing on. Like there was only one guy in juniors, you know. So there wasn't that many people there, but also you wouldn't want to step on stage when there's no one to fucking come.
Honestly, it would kill me. I'd be gutted. I wouldn't. You know what? I actually think I'd be like, I don't want the trophy.
If I got on stage and there was nobody else there, I'd just be like, what's the point?
Yeah, I don't think I could do it. I'd literally just be like, I don't actually want the trophy, because then what? You're looking at the trophy and it's like, oh yeah, first place, yeah, 1 out of 1. Like, you just feel a bit, I don't know, silly. But at the same time, you've put in all the work, you've put in all the effort, you've got there, which a lot of people don't do. You know, so many people start a prep and they don't get to the stage.
No, and the nice thing as well is they still won't qualify you for British finals if you're not up to the standards.
Yes.
So, and that changes like within the classes as well. So they might say like, oh, top 3, or actually we're going to change to top 4 because top 4 are at a good standard. So I really like that they do that, because
I thought that.
And it's the same with like pro cards as well. So like, for example, like if the overall winner still isn't pro card worthy, they won't give them the pro card.
Yeah.
And that's definitely the way that it should be. So
speaking of overall, AJ's client got it, didn't he? Theo?
Legend.
Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Okay.
I had to leave because I had a FaceTime posing client. Like, so I literally had to leave just as overall started. Was it just the one overall, or was there overall male and female?
It's just the overall, because they do the men's bodybuilding overall. And then obviously they don't compare like the different female classes. So they're not going to compare like figure, athletic and physique.
Yeah, but don't they like
they wouldn't compare men's open bodybuilding with men's physique.
But isn't it in my personal experience, and an overall isn't comparing the athletes against each other, it's comparing the athletes to the criteria. So it's whoever fits the criteria best.
Yeah, but they wouldn't that's like a completely separate thing, because that's like them doing an overall female competitor and an overall male competitor, which isn't what they do. They do an overall for each class. So like the overall men's bodybuilding champion is the person who wins out of all the different men's classes. You know, like if they were to do like overall male and female, then they'd compare all the male classes with all the female classes. I don't really get that. I mean, I know they can do that, but I personally wouldn't really ever be bothered about something like that. Oh, you're there.
I went off then, didn't I?
Yeah.
That was
I know they do that at like PCA and stuff, and I get it, because I get like, oh, they're judging how close you are to the criteria. But
I like it, to be fair, but everyone has their personal opinion.
Yeah, but they didn't do that. But he looks awesome. Which was wicked. And I didn't realize this, because we actually trained with Theo as well like a couple of months ago, and I literally thought he was like younger than AJ. I thought he was like 23, 24, and he put on like a birthday post the other day. I was like, fucking hell. But it's like, it shows though, like as a natural maturity, like it's going to take time. And the nice thing is you have the time, because you don't have to worry about, I can't keep pushing this for much longer because it's not good for me. Like, you can just crack on, which is cool. Like that.
Sure. No, it was a great weekend, and it lit a fire in me that I didn't even fucking think I needed. Like, you know, I mean, I speak to you every other day, really, every few days, and like, even if I'm having a bit of a tired day, I'm still fucking buzzing. Like, I'm still happy that I'm doing this. I'm still excited that I'm doing this.
Like fucking moaning about it.
No, and I was literally sitting there watching it, like, get me on that fucking stage. Like, I think you just know, don't you? You can turn up to a show and you can watch it and you can be like, I'm a bit nervous for that, or I'm a bit, it'll be fun, or you are so ready.
Yeah. Or it's like you either sit there and you can look at it and you go like, yeah, that's cool, or you're literally like I could like cry, because I was watching it, and obviously like it gets me excited, but it gets me very, very excited for him to compete, because everyone knows like I'm just really, really passionate, like, and I'm a big like shouter and get really involved, even just from like his fucking training videos. So like when he gets on stage, I'll probably be a right mess, but it gets me really excited. So,
yeah, that'll be cute. That'll be so nice. I mean, I am on 30 days out.
That's mad. Give me an update. Update me, please.
So I'm 4 and a bit weeks out. So started a 20-week prep. So I've literally done like, I've got check-in tomorrow. So it'll literally be 16 weeks of a prep tomorrow, which is so crazy. Like, what? It's like, you know what, it blows my mind, because I spoke to, obviously, this is a bit of an update. So I've moved gyms.
Oh, where are you training now?
Yeah, so I've moved to somewhere called Flex Physiques, and it's not far from my other gym. But basically, I love the other gym, like I really, really do. But the equipment, like, there was always something off. Like the hamstring curl was always bent, the leg extension was always bent. There was always like you had to wiggle something to adjust it. And when I went up to Fitex and trained in prophecy. And like I felt the equipment and how smooth it was. I was like,
they've got a lot of Nata kit there as well, haven't they?
Yeah. But I was literally like, this is how it's meant to feel. Oh. Yeah, so I was like, right, I'm gonna have a little shop round, and I tried Flex Physiques a couple of months back for like literally one session, but I felt really intimidated. Like it was just one of those things where I think it was just an off day with myself. I think my anxiety was a bit like iffy, so I just didn't go back. And I was like, no, you know what? I know that they've got some really good leg equipment. They've got like 2 hacks. They've got a pendulum, got a nice leg press that suits me anyway. They've got quite a lot. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to just give it a go. Even if it's a month, like there's no contract, just give it. Yeah. So I've moved there. And
how have you found, has it been like good, that adjustment? Because obviously like some people get a bit nervous about changing their environment.
So yeah, it's like, it's been one of them where, you know, where you're like looking around like, oh my God, are people thinking I'm a cunt? Because obviously as well, I am lean. So like people probably think that I'm just like this complete arrogant bell end. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I think it's more like people just notice you more, and you, I mean, even if they do or they don't, like you're more aware of thinking about it.
Yeah.
And it's normal, like when you go in a new environment, to be hesitant about what people think, or feel comfortable there, because especially when you've been training somewhere else for so long, you do get comfortable in your environment, just the way that humans
that is literally the exact post that I've just posted today, because I didn't move. I was in a pure gym for 7 years. I only moved into like a actual gym, bodybuilding kind of gym 2 years ago, after my 2019 season. After
you trained in a pure gym when you were prepping.
Yeah, whole prep. So yeah, it was Christmas 2019 that I joined Foundry, and then I stayed at Foundry but like moved to a different Foundry, and that's all I've known. So for me it's really scary. Like I get very anxious about it. So it was a big step, but at the same time I think it's going to be a good step. So yeah. What else? I don't actually know how I got on to talking about that. I've just
talked about where you're at the moment with training, and
that's it. That's
training going well.
Yeah, so I really like, obviously I am weaker. Like there are certain movements, especially my push sessions, I am weaker. But you know, my condition is changing. Like, or I'm not even lying when I say daily.
Yeah, we literally sat there right now with booby veins. So
like I ate some oats at 5:15. At 5:30, I was like raging. I was like, woof, woof, woof. And you know where you like I've got ab veins now. Like it's sick. Like I love this kind of, I actually love this kind of vibe, because I was speaking to someone about this the other day as well, because they were telling me that they hate themselves lean. And I was like, what, how? They were like, they didn't like, you know, like veins and things like that. And I said, honestly, like, the freakier the better. Like if I wake up and I've got new veins, I'm so gassed. But at the same time, I have tried to take, I think I've told you before, like if you ever try and take a nude when you're fucking stage, it's quite hilarious. Like it's just not possible. You don't look like sexy, but at the same time I really don't care. Like I'm here for the quad separation, please.
No, I'm actually quite looking forward to the next time I get lean. And like even as I'm dieting down now, like obviously I'm still like well fat, but to actually, like have like some muscle and shape. Because like honestly, when I dieted last year, like I know you say you think you're small, but like honestly, like I looked just skinny unless I was really, really trying to pose. And that's when I hated being lean.
Yeah.
Because I was just
which is understandable, because you're looking in the mirror and you're thinking like, well, where the fuck is all my hard work? Like what?
I didn't look lean. I didn't look lean.
Yeah, you just look skinny. Yeah. So I guess like as an actual update, so I'm now 61.7 kilo.
Lighter than me.
Yeah. As well, I'm like what now? God, maths, words. I started at 74, so whatever that is.
Like 13 kilo down. And
I'm still 11 kilo higher than my 2019 stage weight.
Mega. Like the thing is, yes, your condition's not the same as it is right now, but that's not 11 kilos of condition. And it's a better look as well because you just strictly, so.
Yeah. And I would say like it's probably only 2-3 kilos difference, but that doesn't mean I want to take those 2-3 kilos off anyway. So that's really fucking exciting. I'm really, really happy about that. Like you say, like I feel like this time round I actually do look like I will fit in instead of just looking like a piece of fucking string.
You will do.
I'm excited about that. Food hasn't changed since, so pre-refeed. I post-refeed, I just went back to my normal food. Haven't had any changes since. No changes in my cardio, no changes in steps, and it's just been pretty breezy. Obviously, check in tomorrow, so things may change.
But you're in a deficit. Like you just keep going with it.
Yeah, but so the past 2-3 days has been the first 2-3 days that I haven't really been dropping recently. Because I dropped.
Have you been dropping though?
Yeah, mate. Post refeed, within a week, I think I dropped like 2 kilo.
But have you still been dropping over the past week? Like a little bit? A little bit. I'm not talking about big drops. Like, is it literally been the same? Exactly.
It's like, well, one day it went up and then it's gone back down. Like, I was last Saturday, I think I was 61.7, and this morning I was 61.8. So, yeah. So who knows? But the thing is, like I said, I'm still having daily changes. Like, my weight my weight may not be changing, but I look very different, even from last week. So it's cool. But I started my routine last night.
You better send me some videos.
I don't know. We'll see. I might keep it a secret. No, but that's it, mate. That's it. Update from me. How about you? How's things? The mini diet cutting?
Yeah, good. I'm 4 weeks into my mini diet now.
Yeah.
And food has been pretty much the same the whole time. Like we literally just dropped it fairly low, to be honest. So only carbs pre, intra, post.
Really?
Yeah, and then dropped my post a little bit as well, because appetite just wasn't even like high at all, and like cream of rice that wasn't sitting well anyway, so just changed that out. And weight was like dropping nicely, but then it was stalling a little bit. Even though the look was improving, it was stalling, and I think mainly as a result of digestion just not feeling good, because I'm like so in tune like with how I feel. So like I can go to bed and I can tell by just how my body feels whether I'm going to be heavier or lighter in the morning. And I think I'm really upset to say this, but I was having a problem with nut butter, and I honestly,
mate, you know what it probably is? It might be the sweetness within the nut butter, because I had issues with that.
And I bought like 16 jars of it. And now I've just taken it out. So I'm just using dark chocolate and fats from like smoked salmon as my fat sources at the moment. But
I mean, if you need help with the nut butter, you know where I am,
Yeah. So maybe. So I'm trying to save it. I'm going to like try and reintroduce it when things get better.
Yeah, no, do it, because do you remember when I had issues with my digestion, right? and I couldn't have anything. So I did literally take everything out, and now I'm slowly
it's just too much of everything for a long time. And like I was having like 60 grams of nut butter a day, so that's like on top of like all my other fats. So I've just swapped it out for dark chocolate, and that's fine. And my weight has like started to come down again, which is good. Obviously, like I don't look massively different. I'm like 5 pounds down from where I was when I started, but I just feel so much better. Like my appetite is actually present. Like my digestion's so much better.
Have you found your training better, like being able to brace and like breathe?
Yeah, my training feels incredible, like absolutely incredible, like progressing everything so much better. My fitness levels, like my resting heart rate's gone from like 65 to like 48. So like I just feel so much better on that side of things. I prefer feeling a bit lighter and a bit fitter. And the thing is, like, you do have to push the body weight, particularly when you're building that baseline of muscle, like, and as a female as well, you really need to. And you're going to have to hold that and feel pretty shit and uncomfortable for a period of time. Looks so messy, but it's what you have to do. But like in the future, like when I just have to make small improvements, like sitting around probably like 125, 130 max is where I'll sit. Because that's where like everything just runs so nicely. So we're going to continue to kind of just push this really until things start to look a bit tidier than they do at the moment. And obviously if I get to a point where like I'm really feeling shit and maybe I'm really struggling to get through my sessions, there's no point in me doing that in an office. Just to kind of tidy things up and get me feeling a bit better, and visually definitely looking a bit more on track as well, and just more comfortable. Like I can hit my poses a bit better. Side pose still a struggle when you've got a bit too much fat there. But I just hate looking at my front shots because I just have so much fat in my midsection and on
but do you remember how I looked before I even started prep? Not even peak off season, mate, because remember I did peak off season, mini cut, push back up for a couple of months.
You're very similar to me in where you hold your fat, and
because we're white,
the worst place. No, but the thing is, like, there's some girls, like, some girls who hold it all in their ass and their legs, and they look incredible in off season, but like I just look like a pile of wank.
Who I always think about, right, when I speak about off season and where fat goes and how like it always goes to good place. Ella. Her ass literally like is like 4 times the size. We'll stand next to each other and I'll be like, what the actual fuck?
And the thing is, like, she'll have a bit of body fat in the midsection as well. And like you see, like
barely though.
Like they'll have some body fat in the midsection, but honestly, like all my fat,
all of it,
midsection. So when I hit a front relaxed, like
you look like an oblong, right?
Yeah, and that was why I put a picture on my story the other day, and that was still me, like pretty heavy. Like that wasn't even that long ago, that picture. But I put a front relaxed on because I have to look back at even like my prep pictures from last year when I was skinny to remind myself that my waist is actually not massive. Because it's even just like around my hip flexors and the top of my quads, like I look like I've got no legs. Like I literally feel like I got no legs.
Yeah, but that's the thing though, mate. Like the amount of people that message me like, oh my God, your quads have grown so much in the past 2 months. I'm like, no, they haven't.
They grew so much in the past 2 years.
Disappears.
Yeah, that's the thing. But it's just cracking on with it. And it's kind of nice because I know that when I do come down and when my shape does come out, it'll look good. And I'm going to say that.
You will.
So, yeah.
It really will.
Yeah, is what it is. But I feel really good at the moment, feeling in a really good position. I feel really excited about everything that's kind of coming up in the next couple of months. So I'm in a great mood. And everything's going really well. Like work's going so well. Yeah. Like all the coaches get me so excited at the moment.
Yeah.
Because like so many of my clients are like really like they're fucking like killing it. And they're so excited to like compete and
grow as well.
That's the stuff that gets me like really, really buzzing to like wake up and actually do my work on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything's mint.
Really. Love it.
Yeah.
Love to hear it. On that note, shall we hit some questions?
Yeah, we shall hit some questions. Hannah's actually recording on her iPhone because her laptop that has come from like the 1950s is not working. So
I'm getting in it. I've decided that because I don't ever treat myself, and I've said that I need to invest in a laptop. So it's happening this weekend. So
yeah.
see.
Okay, I'm gonna go with one question. When do you know when to move on from your current coach?
You know what? I think that the initial thought process from that question, if you're asking that question, then you shouldn't be with them.
Yeah, if you were very like content with your coach and if they were the right person for you, you wouldn't even be
asking that question. Like it it actually pisses me off when I hear people like there's a few people that come to mind that have spoke to me before asking about, you know,
why has my coach asked me to do this?
Yeah.
Like
why don't you speak to your coach?
You should be able to speak to your coach and they should be able to answer the questions. But then I know scenarios where people have done that and then they're still coming to me and going, oh, well, they've said this and I don't get it and I don't feel comfortable and I'd rather do this and that. And the thing is, like, there's so many good coaches out there as well that have different approaches, and there's going to be one that fits you perfectly.
That's the thing. I think so many people get scared to leave a coach though, because, and it is understandable, because I was petrified to leave my first ever coach, because you're like, well, what if the next one's worse? Like, you don't know, do you? So it is, again, we're talking about change like we did from when we said about the gym. It is scary and it is a big step, because you tell them everything. You tell them your life. Like, it's almost like a breakup sometimes if you're that good and like with your coach, and sometimes you've got such a nice friendship with them that like you almost put that first, and you kind of think, well, I don't want to lose the friendship if we like end this coaching relationship together. You have to think about your progress, you have to think about your journey, because if they aren't continually teaching you, if they're not respecting you, like, then you shouldn't want them as a coach.
I just think, like, at the end of the day as well, just have a sit down with yourself, have a think about where it is you want to be in the future, where you want your training to be, where you want your physique to be, where you want your mindset to be. Think about if your coach is reflecting those things.
Yeah.
If they're not, like, have a look at different coaches, look at their profiles or whatever, see how they train, see what their philosophies are like.
Speak to their clients.
Yeah, speak to their clients, see what they find. And like, you'll be able to just find someone who molds well with you. But like, I think the main thing with people changing coaches is when their goals change, because obviously different coaches work with different levels of athletes or just people in the fitness industry. You know, whether that's going from like a lifestyle coach to a photo shoot coach to a prep coach to a like someone who specializes in like figure athletes, physique athletes, bodybuilding athletes. You know, like, there's so many, but just like find what works well for you, and don't be afraid to have those discussions with different people and you coach themselves as well.
Yeah, this is the thing, they're an adult, like they should also want the best thing for you, right? So if you're coming to them and you're saying like, look, I feel like sometimes you kind of outgrow a coach, like at the end of the like that, like when you do start your own fitness journey, and say you start, say I had a client, right, and we'd been working together for like a year, and then they decided, you know what, I want to move on, like I want to be doing this and that, and I don't have that expertise, I don't have that knowledge. You go find someone that can provide that service and that experience and all that expertise, because I also want you to do well. Like, if you've got everything from me, then good, my job's done. Move on to bigger, better things. And if they don't want that for you, then they're just not good people.
No. Okay, that was a good answer to that question, to be honest. Okay, the next one I'm going to pick is, how often do you change your training program and why would you change it? Do you want?
Yeah, I'll go, because I've got a little bit of recent experience to go off this. So because I'm in a deficit, sometimes I will be addressing volume, and that is kind of the only time that I'm changing my program. Like, I know you change in and out exercises, not a lot, but you change things around a lot more regularly than I do. Like, I haven't changed things around fuck knows when. So the only thing for me that changes is volume, and that's just down to recovery purposes, and also swapping out certain dumbbell exercises for machines, because again, in a deficit, I'm not very stable with my push exercises. So the machines provide that kind of stability so that I'm able to keep pushing. But other than that, from personal experience, I don't really change them, especially in off season, because I do usually progress every couple of weeks or so. I feel like if you don't progress for a few weeks, if you stall with a movement in your off season and you really can't get past it, then it may be something like a hip hinge, for example. Like, you can swap out like an RDL for like a straight leg and take that for a rotation. But I think there's no need to be swapping things every 2-3 weeks. Yeah. And I think a lot of people get bored of a program, and if you're getting bored, then you're not pushing yourself enough,
So like, obviously in a deficit it's very different. It's like when you're in a prep, like, you don't want to change any variables, really. You want to keep that as consistent as you possibly can. And like you said, it's probably likely that you'll change certain movements even going into that prep that you're going to be able to get the most benefit out of during that phase. So like doing things like a hack squat instead of a barbell squat, or doing like machines instead of like dumbbell pressing is definitely like a wise move. But throughout like a prep phase, you definitely don't really want to change anything at all, and particularly because you just won't be able to monitor how your body's progressing or maintaining in that time if you keep swapping and changing things. But if you need to change something because you're literally not able to do it anymore, or your body weight is so low that you actually can't physically remain like in the movement, like even on like a dip or like a certain row, if you can't keep yourself pulled in compared to like the weight, then that's a case where you need to swap it out. Like in an off season as well, I'm a big believer that you can run something for a very long time. Like you said, you just don't need to change it that often. Like I know you're saying like I swapped a lot of stuff out, but I honestly don't swap a lot of things out, to be honest. Like I swapped a couple of my presses, but like throughout my off season, my whole split was the same for ages. Like I ran the same leg press every rotation for 6 months, and I didn't change that at all. The only time that like I'll change things is when, like, obviously I can auto regulate this myself, but when I'm not progressing something, when I have a niggle, when I notice that the setup of the session, so say like my hip hinge is progressing massively, and as a result that's having a knock-on effect on the other movements within the session, I don't need to put that in anymore. So like I used to have like a hamstring curl before I did an RDL, and then I found I was getting so strong with the hamstring curl and also so strong in my leg sessions that just was not benefiting me before the hip hinge at all. It was actually taking my hip hinge away. So then I made changes there, but there's no sort of set like I will run this meso for 8 to 10 weeks. After the 10 weeks, I will change. And that's the same with all my clients. Like I'll have a meso set out for like 10 to 12 weeks. And if they're still progressing at the end of it, no need to change anything. If the movement still feels good, no need to change anything. If the physique still looks good and we're bringing up the areas that we need to, no need to change anything. But if you need to change something because you're not progressing it, because the look's not replicating what you wanted to get out of the training, if you fucking hate a movement, like really, really hate it, and it's not benefiting you that much, and there's maybe something else that we can do that's going to give you the same benefit, then change something. But you don't need to worry about, I need to change this now. Like I've been doing the fucking Atlantis hack squat since God knows when, like I've not changed that out. You just keep cracking on it. Like, yes, the main thing is really that I think is more beneficial is that you reset things every now and then.
Yes. Yes.
Or,
You know what? I think that's what I really weirdly benefited from. Like going into this prep, it's made me really, really think about all my form, because I know that if I have one slip, you know, when you get to that point where, so right now, for example, yesterday in my leg session, I felt like pulls on my delts and biceps, like almost pulling muscles, just because I guess my recovery, so I do push then legs, so my recovery in my arms isn't as good anymore. So I was like trying to pull myself into the machines, and I was getting fucking like pain through my arms. So I'm just getting to that point now, but it's cool. It's cool.
To be honest, my body just feels battered every session, no matter what, going through everything.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, that's kind of like, that's such a nice feeling. Like, you know that you're able to push yourself like that hard. Like in my push sessions now, I'm really noticing like I just can't hit those 2 last reps that usually I would just focus and be able to like push into. And I'm literally there like, go, it's not moving, please.
Yeah, it's mad annoying that.
But yeah, we move.
Right, let's get next question.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to kind of combine 2 of them so that we're all talking for ages. So someone has asked, how do we find switching your mentality with body image and gaining cut phases? And somebody has also asked about health post-show and how long it takes. And I think that they're kind of similar because they both relate to that post-show kind of period. Do you want to should we firstly kind of like talk about the mentality with the body image change in both gaining and cutting phases?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Whenever someone asks me this question, I'm genuinely like, whatever I say isn't going to change anything, because it's really down to what your goal is. Because if you're literally sitting there thinking, right, I've just done a cut and I don't like, you want to grow, so you need to literally be like, right, well, like if I want to grow, I need to put on weight, I need to get fucking strong. And that's literally the only switch that you kind of have to make, because you cannot grow optimally when you're lean. You can't get strong when you're lean. Like it's not possible. So yeah, in short, you do just have to think, what do I want in the long term? Do I want to stay looking like this next time I step on stage? No. So you have to be like, well, I need to eat. I need to go enjoy life as well. Like this is the opportunity. I absolutely love off season. I love prep. Like I'm loving this bit, but I fucking love off season, because you know how I just said, your sessions, you're literally like taking it there every session. I can't wait to feel like that in my sessions, like where you're like you go into the gym and you're like, I'm gonna fuck myself up tonight. You know what I mean?
Though, innit? And I think that's the worst thing, is that people are focused way more on the way that they look aesthetically than anything else. And like, one thing to take into consideration is that you're gonna have to bulk and cut. I hate saying that. If you want to actually make changes to your physique, like you can't. I fucking hate all this main gaining shit and people saying, like, I saw a post the other day and someone was like, it was like, oh, like you don't need to gain much weight if you want to like put muscle on. Like bodybuilders are always saying you need to like get heavy and uncomfortable, but you really don't. I was like, no, like not true at all, because
I literally gained 20.
They will literally like, they'll gain 5 pounds. Yeah. They look better because they put on body fat on their arse. Yeah. They've not gained any muscle. Right. And then they diet because they go, oh, I'm going on holiday, I'm going to diet. And then they just look like shit again. And probably worse because they didn't even build up their food and they've had to diet down on dust. So like, you know, it really baffles me. So firstly, don't worry too much about, sorry, I went off on a tangent there. Don't worry too much about the aesthetics. But like I say, like, if you want to be better, you just commit to it. And there's a point.
Immerse yourself in it. Like, don't do a fucking 1 month off season. Like, it's not going to do anything. Like, if you want to do an off season, you have to literally be like, right, let's go. Let's get into this off season. Don't, because the amount of people that I'm seeing at the minute as well that aren't even prepping, right? And they're like, yes, you can reminisce about your prep and stuff, but they're like moaning about the food they're eating, and they're just saying like, oh, what, 80 weeks till prep? Shut up. Just be in your off season. Just like enjoy this bit.
Yeah. And like, yeah, staffed. And also one thing is, like, don't worry about like the amount of weight that you go up by. And I literally said this on my post today, but like, you can't compare how much your weight has gone up, because you no longer want to be that previous weight. Yeah, that's the most important thing. And that's why, like, I say, like, yeah, I'm like 40-50 pounds up, but I'm not going to be 95 pounds when I diet again. Like, I don't want to be, at least. No. So it's not a comparison, you know. So don't worry about the scales. Worry about how you look, worry about how your training is, and take those things as the most important things that you think about.
And by you saying how you look, you mean like don't get fucking morbidly obese, but no, you are going to get like soft.
Yeah, and I think people also I really don't think people understand how like soft I am half the time, because like, yes, I've got muscle, I've definitely gained some muscle, but I'm also very soft. Like, I sit down, I've got like rolls.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
that's
but what... like, yeah, like I was about to say, so you should, but like at the end of the day, are you not getting fucking strong? And that is just gonna lead to just tissue. So
exactly. And that leads on to also the other question, which was kind of like about health, and I think that links to like, you also have to shift to the positives in those gaining phases. Which is like your health is so important, especially as like a female. And by the way, my health is really, really good at the moment. Like, I've had a regular cycle for the past nearly a year now, which is amazing. Like, I've never ever had that in my life, and that's like just unreal. And otherwise, that health otherwise is so good, but I've had to spend a good amount of time where I am. And like, I'm only at the point now, a year after my show, where I'm able to diet and things are making some moves. But I could not prep. I could not prep. My body would not respond to getting that lean. At all. But that just shows the importance of taking time and spending time being heavier and just accepting it. So
let's not talk about my health right now. No. And my resting heart rate is 36.
Fucking hell, mate. That's mad.
Dying. Nah, on a like serious level, like at the end of the day, I am also thinking about my health. Like, yes, I am in prep, but you know, I am ensuring that my fats are higher. I'm taking the correct supplementation whilst I'm not maybe getting things from the variety of foods. Yes, I have lost my cycle, but again, I am taking some supplementation to try and ensure that my hormones are as regulated as possible.
Sacrifice.
Yeah, I have had my bloods done. Everything looks like normal. That was a couple of weeks ago, but at the end of the day, it is an extreme sport, so you do go into like these realms of like I shouldn't naturally be this lean. Like, you know, that's why you lose your cycle, because your body is basically being like, you wouldn't be able to carry a child. However, I know that post show I will address those issues. Like, I will make sure that all those markers are like in exactly the right position. So that's exactly what you said, Loz. Like, that's what's important. You've got to think about the off season, the benefits that come from being able to take that step away.
Yeah, definitely. That was a good one. I think we've answered some good questions and had a good chat. The other questions were really just everyone wanted to know how we were, and we give a really good update on that anyway. It's been really nice to just do an episode again, just have a chat, because me and Hannah are just like, this is our like weekly catch up, and then we just let everyone else listen. But it's really nice. Like, we love that people actually listen to this. And I said to Hannah, like, this one girl came up to us at the BNBF, and like, she probably listens to this now. So thank you for listening.
Hi.
Like, she told us how like she listens to podcasts, and that just like means the world. And like all the DMs we get and stuff, like we can't believe people actually want to listen to us, but we're so glad that we can like hopefully provide some good valuable information as well as just some nice entertainment as well. So yeah, thank you so much to everyone for listening. Thank you, Hannah, for joining me. We will try and, well, we'll be back again next week.
Yeah,
we're going to keep these on the ball, but we'll be back again next week. Don't like be afraid to pop me and Hannah a message to let us know if there's anything particular that you want us to do, anyone you want us to get on, and we'll do our best to get that sorted. But otherwise, thank you so much for listening. Hope everyone has a lovely day, and we will be back again next week.